Welcome to the newest vlogs video. Today we'll be doing another short video. We'll be doing another intermission between another few videos before I start going back to the normal content thing that we were doing with. I should feel like I need to bring something up immediately. So I made that Kai Cenat video very long bad just to explain the Kai Cenat situation, you know, the streaming university thing and all of that, right? Beautiful things, beautiful documentary video, beautiful in-depth review video, right? What comes with making videos like those is that when you start making opinions that nobody else would take, you have to be that person to be ready to take any sort of criticism that comes to you when people come in from all sorts of angles. You know that whenever you do research online, you always gotta look at both sides of the stick. Kai Cenat is not a terrible person. I only called out his mistakes. I called out all of the things that he did at university, and I think it's a genius concept. I think somebody else should be doing it. You should be doing the same thing. I feel like everybody should have a chance. No matter how ugly and stupid they are, people can change. But when you go over to innocent content creators' channels without any single clue of what you're saying at all, when you feel mad, you shouldn't go over to the point where you start sending death threats to people just because they made an opinion about your favorite content creator. I don't know who you are, and you don't know who I am. I do not like the concept of the idea of going over to the comment sections of people and telling them to delete their channel, to stop making content as a whole, and calling people very mean and rude names. So, to bring awareness to something that most people would probably not care about if you were one of those people who sent me death threats in the comments for making a singular opinion about Kai Cenat that I had to go in depth to explain why I made such opinion for. If you watch the video, you know, all those 3 hours worth of footage that I made about Kai Cenat, you will understand where I'm coming from. That I'm not saying everybody is like a villain and criminal and law-breaking, non-abiding citizen with terrible behavior telling people to do criminal activity. What I was trying to reduce is to tell people, like young people, to not exactly think that this is the very thing that they should do for the rest of their life. There's some people who are not as talented as these people, and I'm going to admit this right now. I'm not saying these people are not talented. I told you that these people were either troublemakers, problematic, stuff like that about the professors. Not that I'd all say that they have no talent. They have skills, they have things that they work on, they have businesses to deal with, and that doesn't mean they have one brain and then that's all they'll need to be able to handle such business. Their business doesn't go off of just them being alone. They need person to program the stuff they have to do, plan it all. Those business people, you know, those business people that you have to hire to be able to sustain a business, they're managers, employees, writers, planners, organizers, choreographers, photographers. There could be any sorts of thing that goes on behind the scenes that they don't tell us about. That's exactly what I already knew about the professors, but people didn't exactly watch all the video, which is around, let's say, over 90% of the audience that sent comments down in the comment channel. And I did say that we should discuss this and have a rational discussion, but that didn't exactly happen down in the comments below. And we're going to exactly go into the specifics about watching the video as a whole. The video as a whole is around 2 hours long because I felt it had to reach topics that nobody else was going to ever discuss. Kai Cenat's a huge content creator. Call it a celebrity. Call it a historical figure. Kai Cenat's huge. I'm not denying that. And people who think that I'm denying that there are good people in a university, no. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. I didn't say I was going for the people who are problematic and then pointing out what people would never point out because there's nobody out there to do it. We're here to give you the second angle. We're going to give you an alternative angle. But there are good people in Stream University. We had people say, why didn't you mention Extra Emily? Extra Emily and Agent, one of the greatest duos that ever popped up on live stream. I saw clips. Yes, sure I did. I saw Dante. People would say it's pronounced Dante. It's not Dante. I say Dante because it's like it's a meme around my community when I specifically pronounce words not the way they're supposed to. because of the accent I have. For people who wonder why my mouth is such a way, before I go back to the concept about bullying people and harassing people down in the comments to help self-harm themselves, first off, I have braces, so for somebody who doesn't watch the channel, doesn't at all tune in, I have braces. I've had braces since 2021, 2022. Around those years, I had them for a while. I had an upper palatal piece, equipment down up like there before, straining my teeth before. I've went to the dentist multiple times before. And no, that is not because I'm mumbling or stuttering. I don't stutter or mumble. I can't because of the braces that are placed in. I have brackets in there. And my teeth were not exactly as straight as they used to be when I started growing up because of the deformities that grew when I was around a child's age. Now, back to the topic about bullying people on the internet. When you bully people on the internet, okay, that's awfully disgusting. That's really lowly of you to go. Okay, when you bully people who generally only want to make, like, say, maybe somebody's given them too much praise. Look, if somebody was praising me, like if I was some god or something on my YouTube channel, maybe they were saying that I'm the most smartest person in the whole world or something, and they kept glazing the hell out of me, I'm probably going to start saying, okay, you're doing a little too much right there, kiddo. I get you're trying to support me and all, but once that starts to happen, you're going a little too far. And when they go a little too far, it's like when they start going out to people and start harassing them for me just because somebody doesn't like my content. When you're one of those people, and I'm not going to point out who, there's a few that have tried this before. When you see somebody not liking my content, don't worry. Those comments don't affect me. Some people that are really rude and mean in the comments, they don't affect me anymore. I've grown up. I don't care about those comments anymore. Maybe they would help me. Some of them might be helpful. Maybe some of them will push me, motivate me to be a better person because I'm not exactly perfect, but they aren't exactly perfect either. But let's not be that person who's incredibly parasocial to my YouTube channel and starts going out to people's channel and starts sending them a whole bunch of rude mean things for me, thinking that that's exactly what I want. No, that's not what I want. My community is meant for freedom of speech and free rational discussion. People who don't watch those videos with all the visuals and audios that I can show for examples of evidence for why I made such an opinion, those people, you can just leave them alone. You can tell when they don't watch the channel by the time they start saying, "Hey, find an hobby." I'm gonna call out this comment here. There is somebody out there who says, "Hey, find an hobby. Go find a job and touch grass." They clearly have never seen this channel before. I've made multiple vlogs before. I've made music before. I've done track before back when I was younger. I've used to love foot racing people, racing across the track to see who's faster. I've played soccer when I was younger. I used to exercise when I was younger. And over time, sadly, I wasn't able to exactly specify my exercise routine anymore, and I just dropped it for art, music, in my studies. And if you are a college student, university student, you exactly know what I'm talking about when you have to start dropping things that you used to do in your everyday life back when you were younger to do something that you're going to pursue. And sometimes pursuing that means that you have to sacrifice your time to open up time for your studies. And when you're studying, you need that extra time to be able to study. And you viewers out there who send the most random comments saying that have nothing, or my video has like 70 views or something, you're generally one of the worst people out there, because if your family had, say, 70 views on one of their videos, wouldn't you try to support your family when they had made 70 views on their birthday party video? What if your mother posted a post and she gets 3 likes from her cousins, and they're her friends, and they're her cousins? They love her. They love your mother, and they're liking her post. So what's wrong with getting 3 likes if it came from people who genuinely care about your content, who care about your mother? And if they're giving care to your mother, what's wrong about giving 3 likes away? That doesn't mean because Mr. Beast made 1 million likes, suddenly his content's not valuable. It's about what really matters. It's about what really matters to you, what matters to them. And when you start disqualifying people for the amount of followers that they have, saying you start bringing in followers saying you have only 1,700 subscribers, you're disqualified from your opinion, your point. You should stop posting content and delete this video. When you start saying stuff like that, get out of here. Get the hell out of this channel.